Michael Wayne Dunahee was born on the 12th day of March in 1986 in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. On the 24th of March 1991, 4-year-old Michael and his family went to Blanchard High School for his mom, Crystal's, flag football practice. Michael was wearing a blue hooded jacket, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt, rugby pants, and blue sneakers that day. At around 12:30 p.m, a family arrived at the school. Once there, Michael asked his mom if he could go to the playground. The playground was near the football field where the practice was going to take place. Crystal had a bad feeling and felt that something wasn't quite right, yet she allowed him to go to the playground. She told him to stay there until his dad came. A little while later, Michael's father, Bruce, went to the playground, but there was no sign of Michael. Immediately, panic started to set in. The police was called and 50 people started searching for Michael. The investigation into Michael's disappearance became one of the largest investigations in Canadian history. The police classified his case as an abduction and not a missing persons case, since he disappeared so quickly from a public place. All of the detectives from the Victoria Police Department were called in to solve this case. The police received hundreds of tips from around the country every single day that they had to follow up on. A witness told police that she saw a man in his 40s or 50s with a brown van near the playground. A month after Michael disappeared, the police staged a recreation of Michael's disappearance at Blanchard Elementary using a brown van. The hope was that this would jog someone's memory. Unfortunately, the police were unable to produce new leads. Despite all of the effort being put in to find young Michael, no one had any clue where he was. The case went cold. It would remain that way for 15 years. Then, in 2006, the police heard about a young man that physically resembled Michael, who had been living in British Columbia since 1991. DNA tests were done, but it was confirmed that this man was not Michael. In 2009, police in Milwaukee, Wisconsin found a missing person poster of Michael at the home of 62-year-old Vernon Seitz. Despite Wisconsin being in the US, it is really close to Canada, where Michael disappeared. Vernon Seitz have confessed to taking children's lives before. The police couldn't question him because he passed away apparently from natural causes. In 2011, just before the 20th anniversary of Michael's disappearance, the police were notified of a man living in Chase, British Columbia, who looked like Michael. Unfortunately, after DNA testing was done, it was confirmed that this man is also not Michael. His case remains open, with the police still committed to continuing the investigation. Both the police and Michael's family remain hopeful and believe that one day a tip will come in and will provide them with an answer about his whereabouts. We are now close to him being missing for 30 years, and to this day tips continue to come in from the public, especially around the anniversary of his disappearance each year. Martin Duncan Allen was born on the 19th day of October 1964 in Islington, London, England. Martin's mom worked as a secretary at Tufnell Park Primary School. When Martin was 12 years old, his father got a job as a chauffeur for the Australian High Commissioner. This meant the family moved to a cottage in Kensington, London. This also meant that their neighbours included Margaret Thatcher and the De Beers family. Martin attended the Central Foundation Grammar School in Old Street. He was described as intelligent, good at French, maths and drawing. He was also quite shy. On the 5th of November 1979, after school was done for the day, Martin walked home with his friends. At 3:50 p.m, he said goodbye to some school friends at King's Cross Station and continued on his way home. At 5 p.m, he was seen at his home by his brother Kevin. He just quickly got some money and left again. His plan was to go to his brother Bob's house. That evening when it got late, his family did not get worried. Always when it got late, Martin would just stay at his brother's house. The next day, the family still hadn't heard anything from Martin. At 7 p.m, Miss Allen rang Bob. Bob told her that Martin never made it to his house. The family then called Robert, who was Martin's best friend. He told them that he wasn't at school that day. The parents then called the police. A large-scale police operation was launched to help find Martin. The police searched his room for 9 hours, looking for any leads but found none. 5 weeks after his disappearance, a TV appeal was made. A male witness then came forward. He says that on the day Martin disappeared, he saw a man accompanying a boy, acting suspiciously at Gloucester Station. The man was standing with his arm around a boy that looked like Martin. The boy appeared to be distressed, and the man seemed very nervous. When the two of them went into the train, the witness apparently heard the man say to the boy that he should not run away. The witness described the man as 6 feet tall, in his 30s, well built, with very blonde hair and a mustache. He was wearing a denim jacket and trousers. What ensued was London's biggest house-to-house search. The police searched every house in the area. Investigators eliminated 200 suspects. They spoke to 50,000 people and collected 600 statements during the inquiry. Unfortunately, the identity of this man is still not known. Martin's brother Jeffrey alleged that in the early stages of the police investigation, the detective responsible for the original 1979 investigation had told the Allen family that there were high-up people involved and that they should stop talking and not take it further because someone will get hurt. In 1984, a book was written about the case by writer Anton Hill. In 1998, the police in Liverpool received an anonymous tip-off. This led them to the house of a 62-year-old child predator. In his house, they found a shrine dedicated to Martin, newspaper cuttings, pictures, and a headstone engraved in memory of Martin Allen. This bizarre development led to renewed interest in the case, but unfortunately the police could not find anything else linking the man to the disappearance of Martin. In 2009, the police told the family that the files on the investigation were destroyed in a flood. Also in 2009, Martin's parents conceded that they have no hope of seeing him alive again. They believe him to be abducted. They stated that their only hope is to know what happened and why it happened. Sadly, they will never know since both of them passed away.
Susan Walsh was born on the 18th of February 1960. From a young age, she aspired to be a poet. She attended William Paterson University. There she studied English and writing. Susan was also employed as a journalist for the university newspaper. Susan was struggling to pay her tuition, so for some time she worked as an exotic dancer and stripper. She also had struggles with substance abuse and alcoholism. Nevertheless, she graduated in 1998 with a bachelor's degree. After graduating, she worked as a writer for engineering and business publications. Susan married Mark Walsh, who is the brother of musician Joe Walsh. The next year in 1985, the couple had one son named David. On July 16, 1996, Susan left her apartment complex in Nutley, New Jersey. She shared the apartment with her son. By then, she and Mark had problems and weren't married anymore. He lived in the apartment below them. Susan went out to run some errands and make a telephone call at a payphone across the street. She left her son in the care of his father. Susan has never been seen after that, and no sign of her has ever been found. At the time of her disappearance, her friends worried that she had relapsed after having maintained 11 years of sobriety. The police immediately eliminated Mark Walsh as a suspect in her disappearance. Rumors soon circulated that Susan's disappearance was connected to the investigative journalism she had been doing at the time. Before her disappearance, she was working on an article that would expose the illegal dealings of the Russian mafia. The police could never find a connection between her disappearance and the article, though. In a 2006 article in the New York Post, it was noted that Susan had confided to a former boyfriend that another of her ex-boyfriends had been stalking her. The article also stated that her husband Mark had refused to allow police to perform forensic testing of his home. The case appeared on Unsolved Mysteries in 1997. The police are still investigating some leads to this day, but for right now, the case is still unsolved.